Sorry for the delay, folks. Complicated business. I'm being sued by Clint Eastwood. I guess. Apparently, I didn't even know that was an option. Apparently, the way PODAWFUL works now is I do nothing wrong. The YouTube channel gets terminated for nothing. We start a new season like a handful of months later. Everyone forgets the show exists. But one guy gets really, really mad and wants to take me to court. I guess sue me for my trust fund. I don't know exactly how it works. Now, the last time this happened, actually the last time it happened, it was a guy who reviews burgers for a living. But he does that all the time. Then the time before that, it was just some internet streamer guy who's got no money, no clout, no connections. So I didn't really have a lot to have to worry about there. But this time, it's Clint Eastwood. You know, the actor. Like, all of a sudden now the man with no name wants to know my name, which is no good. So I'm actually I was a little bit nervous about this. I don't know if you've seen this. Clint Eastwood has the weirdest Twitter that's ever existed. It's bizarre. Like, there's something fishy going on with it, quite frankly. But anyway, it's the official real Clint Eastwood, and I know that because it's covered in watermarks telling me so. So we're going to dive deeper into that, figure out why I'm getting sued. And we've also got LowRes and Hans here from Movies, a podcast about the act of cinema. So we'll figure all this out together, and thank you for joining us live. And, as far as me getting sued, Clint Eastwood, go ahead, make my day. This is PODAWFUL.
Shut your fucking face.
That actually made me laugh. All right, so welcome everybody to the program. I'm your host, Jesse, PODAWFUL. And with me today from Movies, a podcast about the act of cinema, it's LowRes, and I don't know how we got him, Hans. Guys, welcome. Thank you for being here. Happy to be here, I hope.
Yes, it's very good to be back. Our second episode with you, Jesse.
Yeah, that's true. We, how long was it? 10 days ago we attempted to do this episode?
It was like 10 years ago.
It felt like it.
I mean, I'm surprised he's still suing you and the time it's taken to get this show on the road.
I was telling these guys before the show began, a new photo of Clint Eastwood dropped. He's making a movie right now. You guys are the movie guys. You know the movie he's making right now?
Juror Number 2, I think, is the title of it.
Yeah.
And he's not in it. He's just directing it.
He's directing it.
And it finished, I think it's picture locked now, and it should be premiering. It might be premiering at Cannes. I don't know.
See, this is why I brought you guys on. These are the guys that know about movies. You know, they've got a whole podcast about the act of cinema. So he's making this movie, and Juror Number 2 or whatever it's called. And, every once in a while, somebody like snaps a picture of him behind the scenes and then they release it and they go, look, it's Clint Eastwood. And you go, oh, God, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure you're allowed to direct a movie? He's in an advanced, what is he, like 98 years old or something like that?
He's getting up there. He's very close to that. Yeah, he's about 93, I think.
I was terrified after our problems getting this episode going that he would die between the first attempt and this attempt. And then all of YouTube would laugh at me for saying that a ghost is trying to sue me. But this is real. I got a thing saying I'm going to be sued all because I messed with his account. Hans, you know how to talk, right? He has not unmuted himself. This is classic. You are not perfect. Unmuted. You are not unmuted. This is so fucking choice. Oh. That is insane. That is not.
Let me tell.
You've been talking. Hang on. You've been talking the whole time.
Let me tell you how movies this is. I press the button that's under my microphone, which is what I always do when I mute myself without knowing that I was muted. And
right.
And then that just happened. So what you said at the beginning of the show when we were in live, yeah, you were right.
I literally asked before we started. I said, if I tell you guys to mute, will you know to unmute when we come back? And then I joked and said, I know Hans won't do it because I watch Movies, a podcast about the act of cinema. That's the name of these guys' podcast. If you've never seen it, I've been a long time fan. I've been watching everything from the LowRes channel for like 5 years now. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's true. Glue Addict. I know that one. Cum Fart Systems. I don't know why you named it that, but I was a fan of that one. Yeah, all of the stuff.
That was Hans's decision. That's his two favorite things.
He chose. Wow. Is it in that order or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I like my favorites.
What are you bashful? Are you shy now? Why are you turning red, Hans? You're redder than Jesse.
Yeah.
I know. So if you've ever watched Movies, a podcast about the act of cinema, every single episode, Hans forgets to unmute himself. It's like literally every episode. And you think at a certain point, you start thinking it's a bit. But in reality, you're just, retarded or what is going on?
Yep. Okay. It's a lot simpler than me trying to do it on purpose. It's just hey guys, how come you guys are not replying to me? This feels weird. Wait a second. Oh. Yeah.
Hans is just telling jokes to himself, wondering why nobody's laughing at them. No one will even acknowledge them.
Infowar in the chat says, I watched all of Glue Addict. Great show.
Wow, that is a deep cut. Nobody watched Glue Addict. Nobody knows about that, but I'm very happy you referenced it, Jesse, in that Infowar. Apparently,
me and Infowar. It's just us. But if you guys haven't seen or listened to Movies, a podcast about the act of, I'm not even a big movie guy, to be honest. Like, I don't even watch movies really at all, ever. In fact, I think they're bad. I think movies are bad. Are movies bad, or is it worth even seeing any of them? Because usually your review is like, pretty nice, and you're thinking of it from a technical, because you are filmmakers yourselves. So you're thinking of them from like a technical perspective. But then there's always this slight undercurrent tinge of like, well, so I guess we had to see this. This sucked, but we had to do it. We had to talk about a movie. And then every once in a while, there's like one good one. But even then, I feel like there's a part of you that sounds like you were just desperate to enjoy something.
Yeah. I mean, that's honestly it a lot of the time. And you don't even realize until about 3 or 4 months later, hey, I think I got duped by that movie. I don't think the movie was actually that good. I think it was actually a pretty terrible movie. Yeah. And it just takes a moment to reflect and process it and understand, oh yeah, movies are bad right now.
Movies are really,
but actually,
really
I think movies are pretty good this year.
Are we on an upswing?
Few years, they've been terrible. What's that?
Are we on an upswing? We're getting better with movies?
I think so. I think it might be too soon to say, but it seems like we're going in that direction.
Are you just saying that because you have a movie that's coming out?
Yeah. I would love to be part of the return of movies, but it's that aside, I think this year is a very prospective year in terms of interesting people making things. Like the big story today is Megalopolis, Francis Ford Coppola movie that's supposed to come out later this year, but nobody wants to buy it. It's apparently a huge mess, a huge interesting mess. People have been saying it looks like Attack of the Clones. I don't know. I think those types of movies drop.
Now is LowRes only fucking up for me, or is this show just cursed?
No, it's
Are we? Yeah, is this never? We're just never going to do this episode.
And it's more than for positive.
I'm sure that was a really great point you made just then, but it all happened in a singularity, and so no one got it. Anyway, movie stink and Discord stinks.
Yeah.
No, that Megalopolis movie, I saw that, and that does the trailer. It does look interesting, although that Attack of the Clones line is actually pretty accurate thinking back to it. Mm-hmm. It does. It also, there's something about it where now when you, for me, like Adam Driver is a good actor, right? I like him in some stuff, but now also at the same time, he was in those terrible Star Wars movies. So when I see him in a thing, I go, ooh, uh-oh, yikes. This is going to, I don't know. He brings that kind of stink along with him now. It's sort of a baggage he's carrying with him in my mind, me personally, but I'm also a Star Wars dork. So that might be it.
I sat out on the very last of those Star Wars movies. I didn't even really commit to The Last Jedi. I think we might have done an episode on it, Hans, and I watched a cam version of that movie, so I haven't even like properly seen the new trilogy at all.
So just remember when you are watching movies, a podcast about the act of cinema, they are basing their informed opinions on cam rips from Vietnam or wherever.
Oh yeah. Well, the episode we did on Elvis, I watched a cam version where the clearest thing on the screen was the Indian guy that jumps as a mid-movie ad about a casino, and he just starts throwing bills in the air.
I know exactly.
That was the clearest thing I could. Yeah, that was the clearest thing I could see in that movie, and I was still kind of like, yeah, that's fine.
That man is African, Hans.
What was that? The most recent Jordan Peele movie. What was Nope. I was watching Nope, and it was a cam rip thing, and I thought they kept putting this. They kept putting this ad on there where it's like a little black guy in the corner, like shaking. He was literally like shaking maracas. I don't know what he was doing. Might have been a chicken wing. I couldn't even tell what he was doing, but I thought he was in the movie. It took like 5 times of that guy showing up before I realized this is not part of Jordan Peele's vision for his Evangelion horror film.
It's like,
I appreciate that more than the Blender dollars, is that they do must-see TV, Kramer walking to the side of the screen promoting whatever it is.
I like it. I think when you go to the actual movie theater, there should be stuff like that. Somebody should be daring enough to put in their film the casino black guy who interrupts the film and just starts throwing cash into a blender or whatever the fuck is happening during those moments.
That's the thing about Jordan Peele, right? You're kind of like, oh, what is he trying to say with this? Yeah, man, he's making a watermelon smoothie in the corner. What does this mean?
I legitimately thought it was like him trying to do a commentary on the monetizing black culture. So I was like, wow, this is brave. This is wow. So yeah, people do steal from the black man. He's right about this. And then, it turns out it was just stupid. So by your guys' estimation, is Clint Eastwood a good director? I haven't really even seen a ton of his stuff. Like I've never seen some of the big ones. Like his directed stuff. I've seen the others. Gran Torino though is like one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, and he's a lot meaner, I guess, to the Asians in that movie than I remember.
Well, he does something incredible in that film where he's the most racist man of all time. That's the entire point of his character. He is like the living embodiment of racism, but he never says the N-word. Never once does he say the N-word, but he does manage a brand new one. And it's my favorite thing that's ever, this should be studied in, cinema school. He invented a term for this movie. He used every anti-Asian. And what are you, Hans? Like some sort of
Chinese.
You're Chinese? That is crazy.
Yeah. Some sort of Chinese.
Don't you live in South America or something? Like you are some sort of blended galaxy kind of. What is going on there?
Yeah, my ancestors left China and from the other side left Germany in around the 30s.
Ooh, yeah. Oh,
so who
really?
knows what they were?
The 30s.
Who knows what they're? Yeah,
Yikes.
I don't know. That's yeah.
Where are you at? Argentina? Okay. So Chinese. So yeah. What's his name? Walt in the movie or something? Walt, he's like, he says every anti-Asian slur. I'm not allowed to say him, but Hans is. Hans, what are all of them?
Chink, stinky.
This is a Chinese man saying this. Is a Chinese man saying this. So he
pussy eyes, slit head.
What the fuck?
No, what was it?
Okay, you just invented some new one.
My favorite. I learned this from a 1940s Batman serial. He punches a Japanese man and says, "Take that, squint eye." So I'm a fan of squint eye.
Well,
That's a good one, yeah.
He hit all of those. In Gran Torino, he says every single one of them. So he must have been sitting there at his typewriter and going like, okay, I can't say zipperhead one more time. Like, that's just too many. What do I do? And he invented a new one. And it's my favorite part of the movie. He calls them click, clack, ding dong, which that's breaking cinema. I mean, that's brand new. That's pushing boundaries that have never been pushed before. But I don't know if he's like a great director like that. I rewatched that movie recently. And while it's very funny, it actually sucks. It's actually like, it's very poorly acted and directed. I mean, he's fine in it, but like the Asian girl, and I can't remember what they are, Laotian or something. She's terrible, and she's like the second lead of the movie. She's absolutely awful. Are his movies bad?
The boy is also bad.
Well, I think when you're looking at an elderly director, you start to question, like, all right, who's really directing the movie? Who's actually on the set giving direction to these people? How often is he just sitting there? And that, like, the thing with Megalopolis was, Coppola was hardly on set. He was actually in his trailer smoking weed and taking naps. With Clint, he's 90, and he's still doing like a movie a year.
Wait,
I don't know how that works, but
did you hear about Francis Ford Coppola trying to kiss women while shooting to get them in the mood?
Yeah, he's trying to get the extras in the mood for the nightclub scene.
That'll do it. Yeah. There's no better way.
Yes, but with Clint, you asked us to come on at an interesting time because I started checking out the Dirty Harry movies for the very first time, right before you told us you were getting sued by this man. So I think he is a good director, but he makes a lot of just generic movies now, and I think it's because there are other people that are doing a lot of the heavy lifting for him.
Okay, gotcha. So. Yeah, who knows? I mean, this Juror #2 movie, who knows what that's going to be? There's a part of me that like worries, like you can kind of smell the diapers when you're watching it. You can see like might still be a little Metamucil on the lens or something. I mean, these photos that have come out of him are ghastly. It's like the Crypt Keeper.
Is it because you saw a picture of him where it looks like he just opened the Ark of the Covenant?
Yes.
And his life is being sucked out of his body.
He looks like they should have shot it in a graveyard to save time. You know what I mean? Like, so this is a scary, scary place to be. And I know, listen, this is a beloved actor. I mean, I'm kind of joshing him a little too hard here, but I am being sued. So I think people need to see the Twitter to fully appreciate what's going on with this man, because when you see it, you're like, oh, there's two possibilities. Either Clint Eastwood figured out technology and is old manning his way through it, and so this makes 100% sense, or it's exactly what you were saying, LowRes, when it comes to like the movies, which is that someone is taking advantage of an old man with a famous name. This is essentially elderly abuse. You're watching every Clint Eastwood movie you've watched for the past 20 years has been the product of elderly abuse. And that might also be what's happening on his Twitter account. So here is the Clint Eastwood official. Go ahead.
The worst thing about that Clint Eastwood account, though, is that he probably thought he hired like a young person to run his social media, but those photos are edited. It looks like they were edited by like a 65-year-old that doesn't know how to use Photoshop, so she used whatever online program to drop the watermarks in there. So to him, this is like a young whippersnapper that's helping him with social media.
Yeah,
it's probably like
65 is a young person to
Yeah, exactly. When you're 90, everyone is young. There's no whippersnapper applies as a blanket statement. So, I mean, listen, the man deserves to call everyone a whippersnapper. What a career. What a storied career. So this is Clint Eastwood official, and you can tell it's official because it says official. In fact, it says official here, and then it says official here. And then there's also the check mark, which I have I have two of those, actually. I have two check marks myself. I don't know. You guys have check marks?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can have a check mark. Anybody can have a check mark. And so this is definitely official. And this is at Real the Clint. Now, I did not question whether or not this was even him at first, because no one else seems to be questioning this. This is, I mean, articles cite this Twitter as being him. It's a very odd handle, though, at Real the Clint. It's almost as if one of them click clack ding dongs made the handle. You know, it doesn't quite cut the mustard.
That's why I think it's like an old person that's doing it too, because it's like they probably didn't even say it out loud. It doesn't exactly roll off the tongue when you're giving the Twitter name. So yeah, it's probably just like an older lady that's helping him with that. You're being sued by Rose, the 75-year-old woman that's helping him with his social media.
According to most of the internet, even off of Twitter, this is Clint Eastwood. Okay, so I thought I was just doing something a little funny. I certainly didn't think that the real Clint Eastwood account would even see my tweet in response to him, but I got myself into a world of fucking trouble with this guy. You got to see the tweets, though, to fully understand this. Take a look at this. All right, so here's his most recent one. This is from 3 hours ago. Getting delayed at the stoplights this morning while heading to work. So this is supposedly, like, who's taking this photo? This is his account, but it's a paparazzi photo. And then I haven't done this. Okay, you need to understand these watermarks everywhere. This isn't a joke. This is real. It's been happening for years now, I believe. Every single photo posted to this account looks exactly like this. Let's zoom in on these watermarks a little. You've got real. Okay, so go ahead, Hans.
The Clint, is the Dirty Harry shadow. It's like, why is it like just a shadow of a? Okay, makes sense. The movie that he made 100 years ago.
That's not Dirty Harry. That's the man, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right there, Hans.
Yeah, that's the man with no name. But Real the Clint, theclint.com, which I haven't actually even looked at that website yet. I should probably check that out.
That's worth checking out.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood, the official Twitter account, having logos and seals on @real. This is bizarre. It says @real, space the Clint, which is not. You can't have a Twitter name with commas or spaces in it. Is crucial to confirm the legitimacy of the account amidst the abundance of fake profiles and impersonators online. These logos exclusively designed by Clint Eastwood. He's designing the logos.
Wow.
These logos exclusively designed by Clint Eastwood for his businesses offer reassurance to followers, ensuring that the content they encounter is indeed authentic and official. By the way, this watermark is a brand new watermark. I've never seen this one before. And
can you read all that paragraph that they wrote in there? I can only read the official.
It looks like
Twitter
it's inspired by Dr. Bronner.
It is very, if you've ever used the hippie soap, it is very reminiscent of that, actually. Hang on a second. I'll bring
this is instructions on how to read his Twitter account. Is that?
Yeah, you have to. It's never been tried before, but I guess it kind of makes sense. These little certifications on it, this check mark certification, his signature, all of this stuff is new. Then you've got creditx.com @therealclint. And I like this. This is a cool thing to do with a watermark, is just put a gun on it to threaten people. That's how you know it's the real deal. Here's just a random freakish photo of him hiding his eyes. This might as well be Madame Tussauds at this point. And
it's highly saturated.
Highly saturated, because people have been worried that he may in fact have expired at this point.
Wait, is that signature the same as the signature on the top one? It looks different, doesn't it?
That's a great question. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's
signed by
different.
Rose.
Those are two completely different signatures, as a matter of fact. Good eye, Hans. I'm not even going to read that. It's a whole paragraph, okay? But it basically is threatening to murder you if you do anything with this photo. Which, by the way, what is the point of sharing a photo on Twitter if there's all these rules?
Wait.
What am I supposed to do with this?
Why does it have like a fucking Norton antivirus license? Officially licensed.
These are, I mean, look, this is that. There's only one way to know for sure you're dealing with the real Clint, and this is it. And this is every single one of his pictures. I mean, this is just some old promo photo shoot from a mag. There's no way Clint Eastwood owns the rights to this photo from a magazine. Here's, oh boy, this looks like a good one. He's out and about on the town having a great time here. You know, this is, there's a worrying thing going on here for sure. It makes me wonder, like, are we doing it wrong? Like, how do I know that maybe, because you know when your grandma is on Facebook and she like copies and pastes that thing where it's like, all of the things I post here are my own intellectual property, no copyrights intended. What if Twitter
give permission to Facebook to use my posts to make money or whatever? It's like,
he might be right about doing this. Like, we might need to start making sure that no one can steal our pictures and our identities and all that kind of shit. Literally every single one of these. What
I'm wondering is, how did you get in trouble here? What were you editing out these copyright logos?
Also, if you're trying to like not have,
I'm glad you asked.
You're trying to have people not steal your shit, and you put his signature out there in multiple different ways where he could have signed, which you could just copy, I guess, and sell things with his name on it.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of options. Okay, I think it's fair to say that there's a lot of different things that could be done. I mean, listen, a guy like Clint Eastwood, he's got to protect himself online. There's a lot of potential predators and scammers that would try to use his likeness, and you want to make sure that none of that ever happens. So I didn't realize that going into all of this. I thought this was a silly sort of fun time. Wow, look at the old man try to use the internet. Isn't this funny? And I regret that. You know, I have a lot of respect for the elderly. So I want to apologize for what I'm about to show you here. And, you know, LowRes, Hans, as filmmakers, you know, I should probably have I feel like you guys would agree. I should have a greater respect for a guy like Clint Eastwood, who's given so much to the pantheon of pop culture and art and entertainment. And maybe what I've done here was wrong. Okay. I posted this. I said, I removed the watermarks in case you need the photo for anything. And then I just took one of the random, this had watermarks all over it. And it turned, by the way, this took half a second to do. It was actually a little bit scary. I put this image into, let me see if we can see the original. Here's the original, okay? You've got the official Clint Eastwood logo there. You've got, I mean, there's fucking 5 of them on here. It's insane.
There's a new one there too. What is that? A Bible passage that has like a light?
Hans, they've got he'll use random ones that you've never seen before out of nowhere. Like boom, all of a sudden there's a new watermark. And then you'll just never see it again. These are watermarks. This guy's got more watermarks than he has photos at this point. So this is what the photo originally looked like. You've got him in profile. You've got the cool shots of him. This one where he's got the light of Jesus Christ shining down on him. Official CE. This is a crazy image. I saw this. This is my first time ever encountering any of Clint Eastwood's photos. So I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So then I just put it in Photoshop and 2 seconds.
You literally edited them out. That's amazing.
Here's what it took. Okay. I copied it. I pasted it into Photoshop. I highlighted the watermark and then I just typed into Photoshop, remove watermark. And it did. And it did it instantly. Like, it was not hard to do at all. So, hey, iStock photo, good luck. Your business is about to crumble. All right. What is the one where it's got they put the X's all over it? And anytime you're trying to steal to make a YouTube thumbnail from one of these stock photos. Yeah, Getty, all of these things. Shutterstock. you're gone. Okay. Now, it didn't do great with their hands. Obviously, I got to be honest. I mean, we probably could have done a better job here, but nobody seemed.
That's just a black person handshake.
Yeah.
It's mid. It's a long shutter speed. Are you apologizing about his creepy left veiny hand or the AI hand?
Great question.
Both kind of horrifying.
Great question. I think the creepy veiny Crypt Keeper hand is the original. I'm not even sure there was a watermark there. So I'm talking about
vascular.
Listen, Clint Eastwood was a big fan of the Snyder Cut, and he's a brother. After filming Gran Torino and saying all them choice words, he had to get the hood pass or else he'd be killed. So now he daps guys up. That's what this is all about. He did stop Asian hate with his movie, right? Yeah,
so
it seems like I don't know why black people are constantly cracking Chinese people in the head, but something happened, either way. So I couldn't believe it when this happened. I got blocked. Okay. I'm having to currently view these from an alt account. This is me being blocked by the real Clint Eastwood. Now, at first I was like, that sucks. My dad's going to be disappointed in me. And then I thought, well, it's kind of funny. I mean, the internet, how do these things even happen? The internet. So it's just one of those amazing little run-ins you can have. But then something even stranger happened. Okay. Some guy, I don't know who this is, random name, left a reply on one of my Clint Eastwood posts, and he said, @PODAWFUL, enjoy your time in court. Now, this guy's name is Andrew S. Carter, and don't bother going to harass him on his Twitter account because it's gone now, adding further to the mystery. Not exactly sure what's going on there. But Andrew S. Carter said that, and I'm like, well, who the fuck is this guy? Why does he think he's got anything to even do with me or this Clint Eastwood character? And so then I said, I replied to him. I felt like I was being challenged I thought it was like a deranged Clint Eastwood fan. So I replied to him. I took another Clint Eastwood watermarked to death image and I unwatermarked it. And I said, I am feeling lucky, punk. And then I quote tweeted him. Okay.
Oh my God. Is that
It looks like, I was going to say, have you seen the movie Wreck where there's a skinny anorexic zombie in the attic? That's what that looks like right there.
Yeah. There's a terrifying. I mean, listen, something spooky is going on in this whole endeavor. We're not dealing with the normal level of reality anymore. When you've got, hang on a second. When you've got this staring you down, you're dealing with something dark, mysterious. And indeed I was, because then Andrew Carter says to me, you'll be contacted. It's nothing to do with me. I just report back. So I decided to look at his profile, and it turns out Andrew Carter is the social media manager for Clint Eastwood. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but apparently this whole Clint Eastwood thing was blowing up on Twitter around. That's probably why I even saw the one crazy watermarked photo to begin with, is a lot of people were just now starting to notice the watermarking of Clint Eastwood. And Andrew Carter was getting hammered because he's the social media manager, getting hammered with people making fun of him, trying to fuck with him. Now, I like this part, though, where he is trying to wash his hands of, as if he's got nothing to do with it. He's like, look, nothing to do with me. I just report back. Hey, I'm just reporting to Clint Eastwood that you should be sued. It's got nothing to do with me. I'm just the guy in charge of whether or not that happens. What'd you say? Oh, Hans froze. Hang on a second, guys.
Hans is frozen. He's just taking a break.
All right, so we got the mute problem happened. Now we've got the froze problem. This is technically an unofficial episode of Movies, a podcast about the act of cinema. We're one Hans sharing his screen and playing copyrighted material away from being a complete episode of Movies, a podcast about the act of cinema. Hans, do you have any Britney Spears you'd like to play for us?
What?
Okay. Anyway,
I don't know. My internet froze for like 10 seconds, and then I came back to that, and I was like, "Wait a second, what just happened?"
I'm just making fun of you for always playing trailers in your podcast and then getting in trouble for it.
Oh,
yeah.
Playing adverts.
Yeah,
for
advertising.
Cruises.
Yeah. So we're just trying to go for a hat trick on Hans mess ups during this episode. So if at any point you want to share your screen and show pornography, go ahead. All right. So
I mean, that hasn't happened. Has that happened?
I don't know. It probably.
Oh, here's what actually happened one time is we had a group account and he shared the password to the group account live during a broadcast. No porn yet, but he shared the account login information.
Okay, please don't do that.
It's a good thing that no one was watching us at the time, so no one even knows what episode it was or what show it was.
I was probably watching. It was Civic TV. I was watching, and I got it, actually.
It was Civic TV. There you go.
It was.
You guys were live on Twitch, and you were watching.
Yeah, I think we were watching.
You were watching
Ernest Goes to Camp or some shit.
I was going to say you were watching... what's that fucking the guy with the tie, the guy with the glasses? Is that his name? You know what I'm talking about? Channel Awesome. Channel Awesome.
Doug Walker. Channel. Yeah, that whole thing. Nostalgia Critic. Yeah.
Nostalgia Critic. Yeah, I was watching that one. And I've been logging into your account for years now. All right. So speaking of horrifying things, here's another picture of Clint Eastwood. Ah! Okay. So...
Deep bleeding from the eyes? What is...
I don't know. I don't know. This is like, at a certain point, are you even still alive? Like, the only thing powering his life at this point are these watermarks. They may be what gives him eternal mortality here on this earthly realm. Every single photo of Clint Eastwood at this point is him getting out, getting mad. I can't even begin to explain to you what's going on right now. It's very bizarre on the back end of things here. Hans, you're still there, right?
Yeah.
All right. LowRes actually evaporated at some point. I'm not really sure. We back? Let's see. The turn they're saying in the chat. LowRes is now back.
I'm back. I'm back.
Clint has a red door to his house. I've seen it. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? What the fuck? These are creepy. What was the last thing? What was the last thing we were saying? Because I think we talked for like 5 minutes and didn't realize we weren't on. So please tell me.
There was a Clint Eastwood reality show that was kind of similar to his Twitter account where it's about him, but it's not really about him. He pops in every so often. There's an a cappella group.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Everyone caught up.
Oh yeah.
Basically, his gold digging wife had a reality show that she wanted to try to use Clint's fame to make it take off. And then every time the camera tried to capture him, he turned into a mist of bats and, went back to his coffin and disappeared. He did not want anything to do with it. And then it turned out she was using it to try to make an Italian or something band famous. And then she was cheating on Clint with one of the members of that band who was like 19. Something like that. Something like that happened. It's a very sad, bizarre story. This is a man who is being hurt by elder abuse. Okay. I'm not a fan of elder abuse. We exposed years ago, that Ron Jeremy was a victim of elder abuse by a comedian named Dante. and we did a whole thing on it, and we were trying to save Ron Jeremy, and then it turned out Ron Jeremy's a rapist. So
yeah. Was it Dante Nero?
No, not Dante Nero. That would be that would make actually more sense. No, this is a comedian who is mononymic. He only goes by Dante. He's Dante the comedian. Oh. It's like Earthquake or something, you know. Anyway, I don't know what you guys last heard. Are we even live now? I think we're still live. Okay. We're gonna power through this, guys. This episode's cursed. It's not meant to happen. They're trying to stop us, and I'll show you why they're trying to stop us. Ah! Okay, so Clint Eastwood, right? His terrible, horrible photos, scary photos. Our friend Urquit asked me to take this photo and Photoshop out the watermarks. And he did this in the replies of Clint Eastwood's social media manager, Andrew Carter. And so I did. I took it and I Photoshopped it out. But then some other guy shows up. And by the way, all of these guys, they're the real ones. The real, the original, the only. This guy's at @RealScott_James. Now remember, Andrew Carter disappeared. All of a sudden his account's gone. Now we've got the real Scott James here. He says to Urquit, I've reported you to his daughter and ex for copyright laws, as well as Clint's lawyers. Enjoy yourself in court along with the scam friend of yours. I guess I'm the scam friend. They will find a big enough cell to put your both in, dickhead. Which, you know, I don't want that. No offense to Urquit, but I don't want to be in a cell with him. So he was mad because I did Photoshop this one. He's mad about it. So we're going to court now. And it turns out now @RealScottJames is the social media manager. Used to be Andrew Carter. Andrew Carter disappeared. Real Scott James shows up. Now he's the social media manager. All right. Are we following along?
Now, what are the odds that it's just Clint Eastwood creating sock accounts and trying to save face by threatening people?
I mean, that's the sort of thing people accuse me of. So I guess it's possible. And in fact, I'm now going to.
Clint Eastwood doesn't. He doesn't know what a computer is. He doesn't know what a smartphone is. Look at him.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Not him at all. He doesn't even know.
Almost certainly,
what the internet is.
If you told him to make a sock account, he would think you're talking about like dry cleaning or something. So
yeah.
So I actually didn't even though photoshopping out the watermarks is incredibly easy, I thought it would be funnier just to not even do that amount of work. I just cropped them out and then posted it. And then Scott James says, see you both in court. And I replied to him. Now I'm replying to him from a new account because he had blocked me on @PodAwful. I said, I cannot be blocked. And at that point he seemed to believe me because he didn't attempt blocking me again. Now Urquit replies, about going to court. He says, for what? Do you know the difference between civil and criminal law? And Scott James says, he says property laws.
Property
laws, You know when you're like,
oh, okay.
You know when you're 8 years old and your next door neighbor is like a little shit and he says to you like, you're not allowed on my property. And you go, you're not allowed on my property. That's property laws. It's very, it's a Hollywood industry kind of term. Property laws, copyright infringement, and defamation. Clint's owns, I guess the Clint's owns the rights. His company Malpaso owns the rights. Fuck me. I'm having an aneurysm trying to read this. They take very seriously. And X knows about the copyright on Clint's account. Elon's informed on this one, guys. Any photo in violation will be reported to be removed. And then
do you think this person is actually called Scott James?
No!
Because that sounds like it was written by someone with a little more flavor than a Scott James. I think a Scott James sounds a little too pale for the way that this person is.
Listen, we don't at PodAwful, we don't judge like that. I know as a Chinese man, Hans, your people have been deeply affected by certain communities. Okay. And I am 100% behind stop, click, clack, ding, dong, hate. But with that said, we don't, unless they're white, we're not allowed to say anything bad about them. So I don't think this guy's name is Scott James. I don't think this guy's name is Andrew Carter. Here's what I also don't think, that he's Clint Eastwood, or even knows him.
But aren't you glad that his Twitter handle is real Scott James, just in case you wondered if that was the real Scott James?
I got to be honest, I completely forgot about that. Now I realize what I've said is libelous and defamation, and I should be killed. So Urquhart
implying that he's not white, you're gonna get sent to court.
You imply. I didn't imply that.
It's your show.
This motherfucker implied that had nothing to do with me. So Urquhart replies and says, okay, but what did I do to violate any of those? Also, do you realize those are all civil complaints that don't result in a person being thrown in jail? And Scott James says, being sued in court, not a good thing. And Urquhart says, okay, but explain what I did and why I'm going to end up in jail. Also, that other photo is full of people calling Clint creepy and looking like a child molester. I guess all of the replies on that photo were negative. And so he says, I assume you'll be suing all of them as well. Scott James says, attempting to remove a permanent seal, it was not permanent. It was the least permanent a seal has ever been. There was no hair dryer involved, steaming, none of that. The AI barely even had to think about it. It says attempting to remove a permanent seal that contains full property rights and copyright your attempted to remove his Malpaso company logo, which is a crime in itself. Try and Warner Bros logo. Let me read that again. Try and Warner Bros logo. Okay. Just so you know, I'm not retarded. That's what it says. Clint has sued someone that way before, the CBD case. Don't know what that means. Urquhart says, okay, but I didn't do that. And even if I did, altering a copyrighted work for certain purposes is 100% legal under fair use. Plus, you've still never answered how exactly would I be thrown in jail. Did the guy in the CBD case end up in jail? Now, obviously, Urquhart doesn't know what the fuck I still don't know what the CBD case is. I assume that's like a CBD conversation, so I'll F my way out.
I thought you were saying CBT case.
I think what is that? Color broadcaster time? Is that why we were late?
It must be.
Okay.
Hans, you know a lot about CBT, right?
Color broadcasting, yeah, that's my thing.
Classic, throwing it on Hans, making him be the guy that has to say the bad thing. So he says, altering, you attempt to remove it. That's illegal in itself. CBD case, he sued 10 companies, and yes, 3 of them ended up with criminal charges. Clint won over $50 million in each case he sued.
What? How much is Clint worth? What the fuck? Oh, so 150 million just on this lawsuit?
I think it's pretty clear, though, at this point, why I should be scared. $50 million, that's going to be tough for me to pay out. LowRes, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I was just trying to, I got a watermark over my face here.
Are you okay?
As feasible as possible.
Oh, well, I have to be. Listen, with an episode like this, we've got to be careful, okay? I don't want you thinking I'm trying to steal your likeness or anything like that.
No, good point. You're looking out for me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Credit to x.com/LowResWB. Please don't sue. I don't have 50 million. So he says, plus, are you aware that Clint owns his name and image? It's under a separate company. No, I wasn't aware. So Urquhart says, God, you're dense. I didn't alter the image. By the way, I didn't alter the image. I guess cropping it, I guess that's sort of an alter. I don't know if that's an alter or not. He says, I certainly didn't use his image/name to make money like the CBD case. Google says he won $2 million or $6.1 million. Don't exaggerate. Name the guys who ended up in jail. It should be public record. I'll wait. And Scott James says he sued over 20 companies. The case is still ongoing. You removed the seal, his logo. That's altering it. Urquhart says you need.
Wait, so
go ahead.
I wonder if he's talking about that green shield check. Is that the one? That's like the real one that you're not supposed to remove.
Them. They're all incredibly important. There's not a single one that's not. I mean, why would they have 15 different possible watermarks unless every one of them meant something very specific? And that's what the guy is trying to say here. If you really look at all the watermarks, each one's for like a different company. Clint owns all these different companies, supposedly. So I don't know if you guys were in my shoes, which I feel like it'd be even worse for you. You got a movie coming out, you're trying to go legit in the entertainment industry. You really don't want a guy like Clint Eastwood to hate you. If you were in my shoes, Clint Eastwood suing you, what would you do?
Well, it's funny you asked that because we did get a shakedown from the Massachusetts State Lottery back in 2021 where they were like, actually, you can't be calling your movie Mass State Lottery. And the real path forward when presented with that situation is you just ignore it and pretend like it never happened. So that has seemed to work so far, but the movie isn't out yet. So maybe if the movie comes out, maybe we're both in prison.
Tell people about the movie because you just released the trailer. We want people to check that out because, Mass State Lottery is the name of the film.
That's right. Yes, it's kind of about me and Hans being boyfriends for 90 minutes, and you just you go to the theater with a big bucket of popcorn. You watch that unfold.
Hang on. I'm glad you said that because I'll be honest. I've been hearing about this movie for like 4 years or something, right? And I've seen stills from it and all sorts of little things. And then you guys talk about it all the time. And then I've never seen anything about it beyond a couple little pictures. And I literally at one point thought, oh, this is like a joke. Like it's a prank where they're pretending. It's like this project they keep putting off. I really thought it was a joke. And then you very recently released the trailer. And I was like, I clicked it instantly. When that came up, I had the timer set on it. I clicked it because I had to see, okay, what the fuck is this thing? And then I'm watching and I'm like, is this about them being gay guys with each other? I literally, is it? What is the I need to know the premise because I still don't understand.
Before you say the premise, I think it's really funny that you think that me and LowRes are such good internet buddies that I will just go to Boston twice just to hang out. We're just gonna, we're just here to just spend time with each other.
You're saying you wouldn't do that. You're saying you don't like him enough to do that. He's not really your friend.
No. What? Just to hang out? No. I'm broke. You know how much it takes for me to save up for a plane ticket? We have to do some stuff. I can't just go hang out and hold hands with LowRes. We do that while we're shooting.
Because there seems to be a scene where you guys are just you're like trying to come on vibrating chairs like they're a Sibian or something.
Yeah. Hold on a second. I got legit raped by that chair. That chair had a function in the ass department that vibrated against my orifice, and I was not anticipating that. It felt very, I was very violated by it.
Okay. Few do expect a chair to have an anal function to them, I suppose. So what?
No, of course not.
So okay, so is it really is it a movie about you guys being gay with each other? What the fuck is it? Because it's called Mass State Lottery.
Let me make this abundantly clear. Everyone in the movie is gay except my character. Mm-hmm. And that's legit.
Like in real life.
Yeah. Wow. Yes. So you're an ally.
I'm not an ally at all. No, I do a lot of bad things to all the gay people in the movie. That's my character.
In the movie.
I throw out people.
In the movie.
It's in the movie. In the movie.
Okay. Yeah. Just to be clear.
But it's
throw them out of buildings, behead them, cut their hands because they touched the penis, things.
Yes, it's actually a piece of propaganda we shot for the Islamic State.
Okay, so I remember you guys talking about the actual Massachusetts State Lottery coming after you for that name. Your advice for me is to ignore it. That's what you've done. So you're just hoping nothing you just never heard from them again.
Well, here's what actually happened. We got the notice that it was a cease and desist that said, "Oh, you have to remove the name. We're going to come after you." Da 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 da. Then I copyrighted LowRes Wonder Bread Presents Mass State Lottery.
God damn!
So I had that as a defense.
Right.
So there would be something in court that would be like, "Well, this is a legal document. This is mine, proof in writing." And then we just ignored it. We ignored the cease and desist. We didn't follow up. We didn't do anything at all. And that was about 3 years ago. So there's been nothing since. I would recommend doing that. I think maybe unless you can meet Clint one-on-one for lunch and have it out with him, have a nice conversation. Otherwise, I think you should probably ignore it.
Well, I have, in my time doing this podcast, I've actually received many cease and desists, like an insane number of them for someone who no one's ever heard of before. From Guinness World Record holders to actual lawyers who it turns out raped their wives, to any number. Not that one. Not he hasn't actually sent a cease and desist yet, but he did threaten to sue. I have received a lot of them. And what I've always done in those scenarios is respond. I did not ignore them. And I would typically respond by saying, "Fuck you. I dare you." Like in the case with that lawyer, I said, my response to him was, "Hey, didn't you rape your wife? And didn't you go to jail for terroristic threats? You sure you want to sue me?" So I never heard from those people again after doing that. It turns out you can just look up stuff about a lawyer and make them go away. But in this case, we don't really know who this guy is at all. We don't, what was the fake name? Scott James and then Andrew Carter. I've never heard from a lawyer. All we know is Clint Eastwood. All of this is, oh my God, 93-year-old Clint Eastwood.
There it is. There it is. Look at that shit. Fuck.
Looks like he just walked out of the tomb.
This is him directing his newest movie. Okay. One day, hey.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, LowRes, if you're lucky, this will be you one day.
I aspire to it, of course. I'd love to have a social media handler with all those watermarks posting these kinds of pictures of me.
One day I will just claim to be your social media handler and be posting these watermarks all over you. You won't even know who I am. God. This photo right here of Clint Eastwood is the reason Quentin Tarantino says I'm done after 10. He must see these and be like, "Wow, what a really smart play that was by me." Although I get
what are the watermarks? I don't see any watermarks there. What's going on with that photo?
This one wasn't posted by that account originally, so this one doesn't have it. This was this is so fucking funny. This was posted by creepy.org. 93-year-old Clint Eastwood. They thought that was creepy. And they were right. They were really, really, really right. Listen, speaking of creepy, a lot of strange things have happened during this time. It wasn't even just this quote unquote social media manager. Actually, let me go back and see, because the account still exists here. What is he claiming he is now? Okay, so now the account doesn't say anything about Clint Eastwood in the bio. It just says, "I'm not a newbie on Twitter. I'm an oldie going back to the bird, retired firefighter and movie fan." So I don't know what the LARP is here anymore, but I did have another person who seems to just be a Clint Eastwood fan. It's a woman, and she came to his protection when I posted the de-watermarked photo. She says, "Those are not watermarks. They are licensed logos, which make the account authentic officially at Real the Clint. It's sad you're trying to get famous by doing such a disrespectful thing. You're a sad person. You need to get a life." And then I noticed that her profile picture was this. where she's photoshopped herself in with a young Clint Eastwood. And so I replied to her and said, sorry, but this photo is fake and illegal. Crimes. So did she reply to that? Let's see. No, she didn't reply to that. She ran off after that one. That was enough to make her run away. So, this whole thing has been very, very odd, very strange. I am a little bit scared that maybe, I could potentially get in real, especially because now we're doing the episode. If this episode ever actually finishes and is complete and we are still live right now, there's no way to know for sure. I am actually terrified that maybe one day we will have to worry about Clint Eastwood actually coming after me. I actually uncovered, I was looking at the social media account of his social media manager, trying to figure out, is this guy legit? Is this real? And it turns out no, and obviously not. And just by looking, and I don't really need a whole lot of other. This guy has made a crazy scam happen. I would kill for this guy to sue me because he would have to convince a judge, and he's got the world convinced. Everybody online seems to think this is really Clint Eastwood. In fact, I found one of the things I uncovered is I found Clint talking to his social media manager in a video. Okay. I had noticed before he deleted that Andrew Carter account, that guy posted a photo that's supposedly him with Clint Eastwood. He's like, hey, it's us. I'm an old friend from a long time ago. That's why Clint hired me as a social media guy. But it was only ever the one photo. You'd think they'd have more photos together. Well, I was able to find one video of Clint talking to the social media manager. So I might have something to worry about here. Look, here it is.
And how do you handle it? I mean, what do you say to people? Do you just, I know people.
Yeah. So, and that's a pretty typical kind of sentence you would hear from Clint as well. It's really clear. And
people were wondering, you don't have it. Okay. Well,
yeah. So I think I do have something to worry about here. But just in case, I figure there's safety in numbers. Okay. Now, obviously, Hans, LowRes, I've kind of implicated you in this whole thing by appearing on this episode. I want to apologize now for that. And I think there's only one way to kind of fix all of us, the three of us, being in trouble. And that's to make everybody else also in trouble. I mean, they could maybe start a class action lawsuit against us or something like that. But the more people there are, the harder it would be to take this case to court. Would you agree?
Well, Hans, you're a criminal law major, right? So you would know best about this, but I would have to assume so.
Okay. So
yeah, I'm safe.
No.
Good luck finding me.
No.
Good luck.
No, you're not. No, you are not. So
you have to be able to communicate with monkeys and raccoons to find me in this place.
I know a few people who can communicate with raccoons. So I've made a little link here available. It's called Clint Eastwood, No Copyrights Intended. Okay. And I've taken several of his copyrighted watermarked photos and I've removed the watermarks. These all, his terrifying visage originally had watermarks on it. Here you can see, so we've got Clint Eastwood shaking hands with Zack Snyder. What do you guys think of Zack Snyder?
Love Zack Snyder. Big Zack Snyder fan.
Okay.
Real fellow.
Rebel Moon. What do you think?
First one, not so good. I thought the second one was pretty good.
Okay.
Waiting for the 4-hour version, I guess.
So we've got the 4-hour for this. We need the Snyder cut of Rebel Moon. So we've got.
No, it is coming. That's the thing. They're releasing like a 4 Yeah, 4-hour cuts of the first and second movie, I think, and R-rated and everything. So
yeah, he did a PG-13 one, and he did an R-rated one. R-rated one's coming out this summer.
So we've got Clint meeting Zach. We've got Clint hearing that he's
meeting
still
death.
I was gonna say hearing that he's still alive for the first time. We've got what was this movie called? I saw this one in the theater. What was this one?
Oh God.
The fucking Atlanta
Roseanne.
Yeah, the Atlanta bombing one. I can't remember the name of the fucking movie, but he directed that. I actually did see it. I actually liked that one. That one was pretty good.
Yeah, Richard Jewell's good.
Richard Jewell, yeah. So this had watermarks all over. I mean, it was all over Richard Jewell's fupa chin. It was this was actually kind of hard to remove the watermarks on this one. So enjoy that one. And then this one had watermarks all over it. This is Clint showing that he still understands how to gesture, which is something that's one of the first things to go as an old man is you actually forget how to move your hands. So these photos are fully available for you to go tweet right now. I've posted a link in chat, and I recommend you tweet to @RealTheClint and let him know that the power of watermarks does nothing. So please help us avoid jail time.
Why is his hand so little and creepy in that last photo that you showed? Did you see how tiny his little Vienna sausages fingers are?
There are two.
You have like a Chris Elliott Scary Movie 2 look.
Yeah.
There's two potential explanations for that. Number one, he's a scary old skeleton dying man. Or number two, there was a watermark over that hand. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I literally don't remember. I have no idea for sure. But it could go either way. So in the end, I am a little bit worried about this because listen, even if it's not really Clint Eastwood, this is somebody who went to the fucking trouble and is going to the trouble every day, multiple times a day, making these watermarks, making this insane account and defending it from every possible aspect. I think there's an Instagram account involved in this as well. So we do need your help.
The real Clint.
Make sure you tweet @RealTheClint and send those photos to him and let him know that they can't stop us all. But just in case you're worried about it too, I did just a little bit more digging. And it turns out there's this Twitter account called Truth About Clint Eastwood. And they posted this. They said, LOL, AIC Warner Bros, a.k.a. Andrew, the person behind @RealTheClint, and there used to be another account called @Clint Malpasso, is a phony and a fraud. He claims to have worked for Clint Eastwood and WB Pictures for 35 plus years. Let's examine the evidence of Clint's daughter @Morgan Eastwood. Now, I know this is the real deal Morgan Eastwood because she was on that terrible reality show. So this is officially his daughter. And this guy reached out to Morgan and sent her the screenshots of, here's the photo I was talking about. This is the guy with Clint claiming to be a social media manager. And you can see he even watermarked this photo. And she says, thank you so much. And he says, hi, Morgan, if you have a moment, I wonder if you might ask your dad what he recalls of this image. This is purported to be the Andrew fella behind the phony accounts. The guy who claims to have worked for your father and WB for some 35 plus years. Thanks, and please wish your dad a very happy birthday. He did this on Clint Eastwood's birthday. From Jeff in Canada. Well, Morgan replied, she said, there are no authorized accounts on his behalf. Shocker. The 93-year-old man does not have a Twitter presence. That guy may have taken a fan photo with him, but my dad doesn't know him. Also, I just looked at that Twitter account and they've, what does that say? They've
blocked her?
Blocked her. Yep. They've blocked me, which means they don't want me to see whatever they're posting because I could rat them out. Ha ha. My dad has a very small team who works for him, and I've never seen that man in my life. Thanks for helping to prove people are frauds. Appreciate it. Thanks for your quick reply, Morgan. We appreciate it. So there you go. The account is fake. So
this is wars, though. I hope
you mute.
Oh. Sorry, I muted myself again.
There we go.
Yeah, I hope you realize that this is worse, because instead of dealing with an elderly rich man that doesn't even know where he's at, you're dealing with a Bjork fan like fella.
This guy
that's obsessed with this celebrity.
He's
where you might end up. Yeah,
he's about this close to putting on Darth Maul makeup and making mail bombs. We are not in a good place whatsoever.
No, this is spooky. This feels very like Catfish, the original movie, or any of those. Hey, we're just looking into this social media account. It's a little funny. It's a little weird, and then it gets darker and darker and darker. This is not good.
The Andrew.
Yeah, have you started?
Go ahead.
Have you started getting videos of a fat man stapling photos of yourself on his fat titties yet?
Well, I'm hoping this episode does that. Here's the thing. The Andrew account is gone, but the other one, which now I don't even remember the name of the other fake name he used, the real whatever. Go back in the episode, find that one. Go ahead. Go poke that guy. Make sure you send those images to that guy. Send that guy this episode. Now, I realize I probably should have titled this episode, Clint Eastwood is not suing me. This is a bit of a bait and switch, maybe a little clickbaity, but no joke, when we first were trying to do the episode, I didn't know about the Morgan Eastwood stuff yet. So I legitimately thought it was possibly happening. There was a potential there. For 3 weeks, I thought, oh my God, I made Clint Eastwood block me, threaten to sue me, and then, claim publicly on Twitter that I'm going to jail over a silly little prank. And again, all I can think about is like, my dad loves Western movies. Because he's old. He's not Clint Eastwood old, but he's old. And so I felt like I needed to sort of come clean to him about this. And I was like, I had to call him and say, hey, Dad, I don't want you to be disappointed in me or anything, but Clint Eastwood did block me on Twitter. And he went, huh? I don't think he knows what Twitter is, so I think I was fine. But, this is kind of an odd world. Yeah, who? That's not an old enough actor for him to know. So I was really, there was literally 3 weeks where I was actually kind of worried about this whole thing. But it turns out we might all be safe unless Hans is right and we're dealing with one of the Earth's Bjork stalkers.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever had a stalker?
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah, a few times.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta tell me more. I gotta know. Can you talk about it?
I'd rather not talk about it and not conjure things back up to the surface. But I mean, it can get very spooky. It can get very eerie. Luckily, nothing got exacerbated on my end. It was strictly an online thing. But I don't know. Somebody who goes out of their way to have 3 accounts and also pays for verification, at least on one of them, and does all these watermarks. That's a very dedicated person to piss off. I would be a little bit troubled by that.
Yeah. Well, can I ask you at least this? Was it the stalker thing that you went through? Was it, you said it was an online thing. Was it because of your online presence, or was it someone you had met in real life? Or
no. It wasn't anybody I knew in real life. It was a fan.
It was a fan.
So
well, I'm here to tell you that person was me. And when I said
the Clint,
when I said I've been watching for a long time, I've been watching everything for a very long time. And the real reason that this show did not happen a week ago is because I've been stretching this out for as long as possible to savor this moment. And now finally, I can kill myself in front of you as I'd always planned. LowRes, this is because of you! Okay. Anyway, guys, go check out Movies, a podcast about the act of cinema. And also the Mass State Lottery trailer. You can do that over at, tell them your links and stuff. Where do they follow you guys? Come on.
Just check out LowRes Wonder Bread on YouTube. Type in LowRes Mass State Lottery and you're going to find the trailer along with 2 other trailers from a while back for our upcoming film that stars myself and Hans's self. And it is very erotic. It is homosexual.
Yeah. If you're into that sort of thing, make sure you check it out. Hans, what about you? You want to give out your Twitter handle, or are you too afraid of the freaks in this audience figuring out where in Ecuador you are?
Oh no! Send me Uber Eats. I'll eat that shit. I don't give a fuck. Send me whatever you want. I'm not gonna complain about that. Okay,
do you want to give out your address? We'll send you some coleslaw. You can just give out your address.
Just H-word name on Twitter, and also go to patreon.com/LowResWB because
no, that's not even the right link. It's patreon.com/LowRes.
Somebody
He's
quick
been doing this for like 4 shows now, giving the wrong link to Patreon.
Quick, somebody go make that Patreon, okay? Save that link before they can get it. All right, so at
so now you know why I don't say anything when it comes to plows, because I get everything wrong without even realizing that I got it.
Well, here we got an episode. Speaking of stalkers, on baby reindeer today that we covered, and the first 30 minutes is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The full 90-minute episode is on patreon.com/LowRes. If anybody's interested,
I do recommend it. I recommend the show. I don't even watch any of the movies that they talk about, and I still enjoy it. It's one of those, it's one of those comfy, sort of wholesome, sort of comfortable sort of podcasts where you just, if I do it, I listen to it because I feel like it actually, they're my friends in real life when I listen to it. And that maybe Hans would travel all the way to me and hang out with me because we are real friends. So can I somebody said I was waiting for the low-res impression. So people have been sitting here waiting for me to do the low-res impression the entire episode.
I was really in awe the first time I heard it when Ryan Katsu Rivera put you on the phone and you did that for me.
That was the most
really something.
That was literally the most embarrassing moment of my life. You don't know this, but before he did it, there was a quick brief conversation, just me and him, where he's like, dude, I'm here with LowRes and you've got to do your impression for him. And I'm like, I'm not going to, he doesn't know who I am. That's bizarre. I shouldn't be knowing how to do an impression of this man. Please don't make me do this. And he's like, no, you got to do it. And he's like, GMAC is here. And I'm like, that doesn't make it better. And so, yeah, Ryan threw his phone down and put me on speaker on the spot and made me do an impression of it. I've never talked to LowRes before. That was my first time speaking to him, and now I'm doing an impression of him to him. But since then, Ryan and I do impressions of you behind your back all the time. It's actually kind of sick. It's actually disgusting what we get up to. We use your voice to say things that no human being should ever think or say. And also I keep just talking as you as Jabba the Hutt. That's my favorite one.
Yes, I got that one too. And that one was probably better overall. I don't know.
Should I do the Jabba one? People will like the Jabba.
I think so.
All right.
Hans hasn't heard it.
Hans, you haven't heard the Jabba one? This is good. All right. This is if you guys have never seen, Hans is cringing. This is so funny.
I'm so uncomfortable.
Hey.
Well, do you have a Hans impression you can follow this up with?
Okay. Now, I have attempted a Hans Ryan and I both have attempted a Hans many times.
Oh, interesting.
It's not possible. We have agreed. Actually, we should get Ryan in here real quick and see if he can try his. It is not fucking possible to do a Hans. Both of us end up sounding like Goldmember from Austin Powers when we try to do it. It's like,
there's too many ethnicities in there. It's just too big of a mix. I mean, Ryan probably has like the natural inclination to go that way because you guys are both made of the same stuff.
Exactly.
It's both Asian and Hispanic and something else.
Yeah, the thing with me is that you don't really know which word I'm going to mispronounce or say incorrectly. So it's difficult to do an impression.
You're both goopy swirl cum babies where, maybe I thought he could get you to, but he can't do it either. We're in agreement. So I like that you're cringing at this, Hans, because that's exactly how I felt when Ryan made me do this the first time. That's good. I have a Hans impression, but only when I do the Jabba the Hutt one. Okay. So if you've never seen the show, every episode starts with, and I don't know why, this is what hooked me. Every episode of the show starts with LowRes going, "Welcome to Movies, a podcast about the act of cinema. And with me today, I don't know how we got him. It's Hans." And he's always like, is Hans like a pet? How do you even know each other? Like, it actually freaks me out that you guys how do you meet a Hans? Is he like some sort of, I thought forever he was like a joke.
He's a joke. What do you mean?
I heard that. Shut up. I heard that last time when we failed at doing a show and you streamed. And you were like, "Oh, I thought Hans was just like a little retard sidekick," and I was like, "What the fuck?"
I thought you were like a prank he was pulling or something. I didn't know you were real. You were like a cartoon character to me. I don't like everything about you. He would say all these things. You're in Costa Rica and you're half Chinese. And I'm like, that doesn't make it. What? There's no way. I thought it was like a character. So like, you know what? I thought you were like Carl Pilkington. You know who that is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
yeah, of course, yeah.
So
he's like retarded, but not pretending.
Because every time,
he's just kind of like that.
Every time LowRes introduces the show, he acts like he can't believe you're there. Like he can't even even he can't comprehend you, but you guys are friends somehow. And he also
he's lucky.
seems
that's that's the thing.
When I listen to your show as my friendship simulator, my good friend LowRes and we're both sitting there going like, "What the fuck is Hans? I can't believe it! Look at it, he's here! Look, he forgot to unmute the mic! Yeah!" So that's like an incredible thing for me. But every episode starts that way. Movies, a podcast about the act of cinema. So one night, I was talking to Ryan on the phone, and somehow LowRes morphed into Jabba the Hutt, or I guess just speaking Jabba's language. And so this is the only way I can do Hans. Okay, you'll hear Hans at the end of this. It's the same impression, but this is Jabba Huttese. Dewanawanga movies, Pudukast, Chuta cinema, Chamana Weho, Hans Mibuki, Dewanawanga. So that's my. No. You're all right. Listen, you are LowRes's salacious crumb is the point. Okay. But you're one of my favorite you're one of my favorite characters on the internet, so that's fun. I literally can't believe you're on the show right now. This is like crazy to me. I'm fangirling right now over Hans.
Yeah, I'm just very uncomfortable now. Like let's just end. I'm in a lot of pain right now.
Hans, do you mind if I mail you a package?
No.
Good.
That's weird. I don't know.
Good.
Good. Does it expire? Because my mail takes forever to get shit. It doesn't. So if it expires, it's gonna go bad.
It doesn't expire. It doesn't expire, but it does do something else that starts with EXP.
Pants.
English is his second language, Jesse.
Yeah, you're asking too much of me. I've been full English for like an hour and a half, and I'm running out.
You've been losing it.
Yeah.
What is your first language? Chinese?
Spanish.
Oh, okay.
I don't know Chinese at all. I'm a terrible Chinese person.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
man, the lore. I can't believe I'm getting this deep, deep Hans lore. As as a huge Hans fan, I just like literally this is crazy for me. I need you to understand. I really need you to understand that, Hans. And if you need
Speaking of,
go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of deep lore, are we just going to ignore Lenny Ways in the chat saying show holes, Hans?
We're not going to ignore that. No, Hans, I agree with Lenny. How
We
many
see a hole.
How many human holes do you have on your body?
I'm doing a nervous. What is that? What is that? The nervous sip? No, what is
All
it?
right, I'm sorry. I'm messing around with you. This is just a joke. But if you do need anybody to work on your social media for you, Hans.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, you're great at using the blending options in Photoshop for what I can see here. So I'm very impressed by that.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, Hans, I have been so excited about making this moment. No offense, LowRes. I like LowRes too, but I'm in it for Hans. And Check Out Movies, a podcast about the act of cinema, which stars Hans. All right. And LowRes is also there. And it's one of the better ones out there. What is wrong, Hans? I'm trying to fucking talk you guys up
bashful.
And plug your fucking show. I want you guys to be successful. I believe in you. I don't subscribe to any YouTube channels that have over 100,000 subs. So I like to promote the people who are, under 100K and make good stuff. You guys make good stuff. I'm a big fan, Hans. What is the problem?
Nothing.
And I want to watch. I want to see
when I go up there, right? We're just gonna fly me in so we can hang out. And
I want to see that movie where you're a gay guy.
Merch.
I want to watch that gay guy movie you're in where you're a gay guy. I want to see what that's all about.
That's it. That's everything we've ever shot. That's this podcast right now.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry for keeping you extra. Okay, so the second I detected you cringing, I couldn't help myself. But I
noticed. I made it worse.
People in the chat though, they're saying they're Hans maniacs. The Hans mania is catching. People are loving Hans right now. Shout out Hans, someone says. Hans, you're sort of a phenomenon, right? You're a phenomenons right now.
Yeah. Guys? Yes.
Can we look at your room?
Hello.
Is there any way we could look at your room? Turn all the lights on, see what's going on in there.
He's got a lantern in the back there. That is an actual real fire lantern.
Fire. Yeah.
Okay. See, this is this is what I'm talking about. That you are sort of LowRes's pet, where he's noting these things in his head, like that's a real lantern. That's a real, he thinks that's a silly thing about you, and he is cataloging that for later use, and now is the use. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
You're sort of you're like almost inhuman to LowRes in a way.
See, what you're going to do here is you're going to inspire Hans to quit the show and do his own spinoff. And it's going to be like how Fonzie had his own show after Happy Days. But then you realize Fonzie works best on Happy Days. When it's the Fonzie show, the viewers aren't coming in as much.
We should start calling you. We should start calling you Hansi.
I mean, I mute myself every time before speaking on the show that I'm in. Do you think I should be in charge of anything?
Oh my God!
when I can't even show up and do it properly?
Again, I referenced one time he was in charge of something was streaming and gave up the password and email to the account. So that's not something that's going to be functional.
For the Hans heads out there, imagine the spinoff. Hans Solo show. Whoa, wait a second. Hang on. The solo Hans show where every episode he forgets to unmute and it's completely silent the whole time.
20 minutes, can't figure out the chat. Just here talking. Oh, that's weird. No one's replying to me. No one's interacting. That's sad.
Can you guys do a spin-off thing where maybe just Patreon only for the real Hans heads out there? A Han Solo show. See what that's all about. I think you got a real fucking meal ticket going on.
There are episodes of movies from way back in the day where I was like, Hans, I can't do the show this week. Could you host? This was before he was a co-host. Could you host the show for me? And there's like one episode on Venom, and I think he could do 20 minutes talking to himself. If anyone wants a taste test of that, it exists. It's out there.
Yeah, it's not good. Yeah, I work well as the what is the character that you said, the little
Salacious Crumb
character? Yeah.
You're a natural Salacious
Miss
Crumb.
Gazoo.
Honestly, I'm joking around, but Hans is actually the funny one on the podcast. He's like like you got, if anybody ever watches the Real Ass Podcast, Hans is known as the sniper. He's like that big fat guy from that podcast, you know? Zach Amico.
Oh, damn, you're calling him the Zach Amico.
Yeah, he's the looks like the guy that looks like every character in Nightmare Before Christmas combined. Yeah, that's sort of you. You don't say a lot, but when you do, you fucking hit them with the hard stuff, you know, the good stuff, and that's why I'm a fan.
Stuff, yeah.
That's why I'm a fan.
That's what I'm known for, hitting them with the hard stuff.
So
hard, deep holes.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, I'm done teasing you, Hans. I'm sorry. This has just been a
How
dream.
much
I know what you're doing
in the last 15
I know what you're
minutes,
trying to do. I've been farting throughout the whole show, but I'm not sweating at all.
You know we can hear that, right? Like that's picking up on.
No, I mute myself. I know how to mute myself.
There's no way you muted yourself because you would not have unmuted.
Wait a second.
Known. Look, see, he just did it.
See, I just
he
farted.
just fucked it. Yeah, but you just fucked up the mute button. I saw you try to talk again without unmuting. All right, before we go, for the Hans heads out there, blow one hot one right into the mic.
No, I don't think I have any left. I think the next one is probably going to be an issue. I think the next one is probably going to be a problem here. They're going to have to clean up for like the next couple of hours, and I'm not willing to do that.
Wait, are you saying you're shitting yourself? What?
Yeah. I mean, I might if I push a fart out when I don't have to, Jesse. Do you know how sphincters work?
Not really, no.
Is that even the function of the sphincter? I don't even know.
No, I don't really know. They're saying they're saying Hans grimacing and all the lines on his neck pop out.
Are they saying you look like a John K. Ren and Stimpy character? What is the George Liquor or American?
George Liquor, yeah. Do you have one big finger?
No, I don't get the reference. I'm completely over.
Okay, all right. We've dragged this on too long. People are literally tuning out. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Big fan. And good luck to you all. I'm sorry if I've brought any sort of legal problems into your lives now as a result of this episode that barely functioned. This definitely was not worth it, and I apologize. So.
Okay.
Is that it?
You're not fine. I guess you're gonna have to make it up to us. But
yeah,
you're gonna have to come on movies.
That's it. That's the end of the show. Okay, bye everybody. Wait, what are you saying, Hans? Sorry, I couldn't hear you. You were muted.
Oh no, that's fine. No, it's okay.
What did you say? Guys, Hans.
I think he's screaming the N-word right
now. All right, guys, let's wrap it up on the N-word. That's one of our favorite things here at PodAWFUL, the N-word. Thank you guys for coming on. We really appreciate it. Till next time, have an awful day. I don't know what happened there. I was like trying to do a bit where I'm like your stalker or whatever because of the guy, and I wasn't trying to make you uncomfortable for real.
Yes, you were. That's fine.
I mean,
It's okay.
it shouldn't have gone on.
I enjoyed that. I had a blast in that last 15 minutes.
That was a lot. It was fun. It was fun, but it was too much. It went on too long. I think 20 people tuned out during that. Which I assume that means they're the real Hans heads. So
Just all my alt accounts.
but I don't want you guys. I don't want you guys leaving here thinking I was like fucking with you or anything. So I'm sorry.
No, I didn't get that impression at all. But it's funny. Hans was sweating it all week. He's like, "What is Jesse? Why does he want us on here? What is he going to show us? What bad thing are we going to be exposed to?"
Oh my god, Hans! I wasn't like setting you up. Why? I can never get guests on the show because everybody thinks I'm like trying to trick them.
Well, not so much setup. I think it was more like, I wonder what awful thing we're going to be saying. Awful things that we should not be saying on the show. It was more worried about that than actually seeing something that might get us in trouble.
I legitimately have been looking for an excuse to have you guys on for like years, and it was the first time I was covering like a movie thing. I thought
movie related.
Maybe this would make sense for you guys to be. I didn't want to. Yeah, I thought it would be stupid if I brought you on while I'm mocking a cross-eyed guy or whatever, and that was it. That's the whole. That's the general concept of my show is just that. So but anyway.
I think it worked. I think it fit just fine. I don't know. I'm very intrigued to see how this whole Clint Eastwood count unfolds now.
Yeah,
knowing he's just some fucking scammer. But I don't know. Thank you for having us on.
Thank you for coming.
I mean, honestly, we would have
nose?
popped on. Yeah, I was just picking my nose. No, we would have popped on for basically anything, though. It doesn't have to. Have a theme necessarily.
I'm the kind of guy that doesn't want to make anyone uncomfortable. So
Right. Yeah.
oh shit, we're still.